So I'm with my buddy Chance Raspberry, one of the coolest guys I've been talking to over the last couple of weeks. He's an independent creator, former lead animator for The Simpsons, and he worked on projects with Family Guy, and he worked with Foster Home for Imaginary Friends. Done a lot of cool stuff, Chance, and I know you had some pretty big news about a new animated series that's coming out, Little Billy. Maybe you could give us a little insight about Little Billy and maybe a little look of what's involved in the world of animation. I know you told me before it takes about 24 drawings to create a 1-second clip, which I think is absolutely nuts. maybe you could tell us about Little Billy and then touch on that a little bit.
Well, thanks, man. First of all, it's great to be here. Thanks for having me. And, you're right. Little Billy is an original animated series I've created based or inspired by my love for the 1980s. And it's loosely based on my own childhood growing up with Tourette syndrome in 1980s America. So the approach I've taken to this project is, it's the world's first and only animated series about neurodiversity, special needs, and, just the power of being different as a person and as an individual. And so I've tried to take that very 1980s approach, which not only entails the writing and the message and presentation of like the uplifting positive message, the like believe in yourself and be a friend, and like all of these great positive messages that we got nonstop in the 80s, but also the actual production process. And I'm doing a Patreon. It's on Patreon now at littlebilly.com, but it's an incredible amount of work because the traditional classical original animation process takes between 12 drawings and 24 drawings for just 1 second of footage.
That's
so yeah, the reason for that is when everything was being shot on film, the frame rate of film was 24 frames. It still is 24 frames a second. Anybody who does editing or video work knows that you've got the option between 24, 25, 29, 30, and 60 frames per second. Now you have 5 options as opposed to the one that was 24 frames on film. And so it was like, well, what does that mean? That means for every second of footage, there are 24 individual images moving at a certain speed. And that is literally 24. It takes, 1 second for 24 pictures to go through the camera shutter. So that's how you get the movement or the illusion of movement, the illusion of life, as Disney called it. And basically you have, that means you have to create individual drawings to be those images. And so if it takes 1 second 24 drawings to make one thing move for 1 second, it's going to take 48 drawings to make 2 things move for 1 second. It's going to take 72 drawings to make 3 things move for 1 second, so on and so forth. And it's ridiculous. So we got to have budget coming in so we can hire people to do this. And that's where Patreon, Facebook ads, online marketing, and you, sir, come in. And I thank you.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Dude, I think it's so cool what you guys are doing. And I'm such an 80s child and 80s fan myself because I'm the youngest of 3 brothers. And look, let me share something with you on my screen real fast. I was listening to tunes, playing this with my wife because she's a speech therapist. We were listening to, I was playing Hot for T-shirt for her, and she was getting really mad at me. But you totally get it whenever I'm talking about when it comes to the 80s thing. And I think it's so cool that you're doing things with the neurodiversity and everything in regards to Little Billy. I think that's absolutely awesome.
Oh, thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. But I know you're also doing some giveaways for Little Billy on your social channels. Maybe you might want to throw that in and let people know about that a little bit.
Yeah, thanks. I'd love to. Basically, I'm started doing these giveaways. The first one is about to happen, and all you got to do is just go to facebook.com/he's Little Billy, HES Little Billy, and Billy is spelled with a Y. And basically just follow and like the Facebook page, and then update your notification settings so you get everything that we actually post. Then just like, comment, and share the post for the giveaway, and you'll see it as soon as it comes out. And that's all you have to do to enter is like, comment, and share. And then basically, if you want to increase your odds of winning, you can just go to the Patreon, which is, either littlebilly.com or patreon.com/littlebilly. And you basically, the way that site works is you subscribe for a monthly, subscription basis. So you're paying whatever amount you choose per month, all the way down as low as $1 a month. For every dollar a month you subscribe, you'll get your name entered in each contest or giveaway that many times. So it's just a way to increase the odds. The prizes include original t-shirts, signed artwork, CDs, money, and a lot more. So there's a lot of great reasons to get involved, and I'm just trying to make it as fun as I can. I loved all this stuff when I was a kid. There were so many cool things, I've got my Garbage Pail Kid shirt on right now, and it's I just remember those cards, all the trading cards, they had gum, they had prizes, you could cut out the back, there was a little coupon or a proof of purchase, and you could mail 18 or 1900 of those in and get a leather jacket with the, it's dude, if you buy it, and it was a genius, because if you buy that many card packs to try and get that prize, you spent a ton of money on their product. Right. So I'm trying to do that without breaking the bank for anybody, and it's just a fun, cool hybrid of what was and what is now.
Well, man, you have my support, that's for sure. I looked at the Little Billy t-shirts already, and I absolutely loved the whole 80s layout theme of them. And, I'm a big fan, like I said, and you'll definitely get my support moving forward, man. There's no doubt about that at all.
Awesome. Thank you, Aaron. Just on that note, really quick, man, the guy who actually paints the Garbage Pail Kids now painted that shirt. He painted the image of the series, the series cover art or the series poster officially. I was like, I want this to look authentic. This whole project is about quality and authenticity first and foremost. That's my number one priority, because that's what the priority was in the 80s, man. It's that's why it's the second golden age. Everything coming out of there was became a franchise empire, Star Wars is late 70s, but then that kind of blew up in the 80s. So you have all of that. You have Indiana Jones and Jaws and Rocky and Aliens and Predator and all this stuff, right? So I was like, let me just go to the guys who make this art and we'll work together. And the main guy who, in my opinion, his name's Joe Simcoe, he paints almost exactly like John Pound, who painted the entire first series of Garbage Pail Kids, which was Atom Bomb and all that stuff that we love and remember, the real iconic stuff. And he was happy to do it, man. We did a commission. He was amazing. And now he's going to be doing background paintings for the actual animation of the show. So I'm so psyched, and I couldn't be happier with it.
Dude, that's awesome. That is so awesome. No, but, in regards to Facebook ads and how you're going to incorporate these things with Facebook ads, I'm so pumped to see how much traffic we can get going to your pages and Instagram and, just to, like you said, your Patreon page and things like that.
Me too.
We went over a couple of different things, and I guess out of everything that we went over, some of the things you're the most excited to start implementing, some of the things you're excited to start using right away in your Facebook ads, what's some of the best advice that you took out of some of the things that we went over, in your opinion?
Well, basically, that's a great question, and there was quite a lot. I'm really glad we could do all of this. Let me just glance at my notes here for a second.
Cool. We went over a ton of stuff, and I'm so pumped to talk about interest targeting and start bringing up some of these old shows that you were talking about before, Goonies, Ferris Bueller's Day Off, The Simpsons.
Yes.
My youth, man. I mean, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But, as far as implementing those things into Facebook ads, people don't understand, how we can implement this. But I'm excited to get into that here in a minute. I know we talked about, increasing the budget before. Before I think we were down to about $5 a day. Now we're talking about increasing it to I think it was 10 to 20 bucks a day to reach your page followers and some of the people around the country. How are you trying to implement that now, and what are you doing with that?
Well, basically, I appreciated what you told me, because I did not realize that the more you spend, the more the ad service, in this case, Facebook, will actually work to push your ads out and get them into competitive slots with other advertisers, or it's and I knew that it was all based on a bid system, but I didn't quite realize how that worked. And so now it all makes sense. It's obviously, if it's a bid system, you want to try to outbid the competition with your budget. So I was all right, increasing the budget, 4 times, even from $5 a day to $20 a day, minimum, is that's the way to go. And so I that's one of the things that with, this and you right now, like I want to start doing. I've been working towards getting it out there and I built the ads. I just haven't launched them yet. So I cannot wait to see the difference it makes when I'm spending this much more money, because I know it's going to be a big deal. And like one of the questions I thought of for you, in fact, is like let's say I'm running like a brand new ad to people who've never heard of Little Billy, like a page like ad or like a traffic ad. I'm going to try to drive traffic to a website. I was thinking that would be a good ad to spend like the $20 a day on. But if I'm going to actually target just the people who are already following my Little Billy page on Facebook, and I can run an ad straight to them and no one else, would that be something I would want to spend more on because I know that they care and I really wanted to reach them, or should I stick to the 20?
Yeah, so if you're trying to target people just within your page, it's still going to go to, the more you pump into that budget, the more people it's going to reach within your page. And something that you actually brought up whenever we were talking, I think it was last week, you started talking about relevance score, how you want to push that relevance score up a little bit. Relevance score I don't think it's the most important metric, but I do think it holds some value where, it lowers your cost per click, it raises your click-through rate, and it also increases your engagement. That also makes that advertising dollar go a little bit further whenever you're optimizing for engagement. You know what I mean?
Okay.
But, obviously it all depends on what your ad goal is. If you're going for conversions, I've seen ads that have the goal set for conversions where they've had a low relevance score, but they've still had people opt in and sign up. So they were still meaningful, but they had a low relevance score. But, if you're trying to reach people within your page, obviously the more money you put into those, I think, what did you see? You had about 27,000 on your Facebook page now, right?
Right.
So if we were paying $20 a day, it's going to reach a lot more of those people quicker than it would rather than the $10 a day. And then, you want to keep an eye on your frequency where it says how many times each average person saw that ad. So if it starts creeping up to around 4 or 5 times, that means, okay, those people within your group are starting to see that ad about 4 times each, but maybe not everybody's seeing it because I'm not sure how often all those people on that page are absolutely online all the time. You know what I mean?
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. And that's I've talked to Facebook about this. I finally figured out how to talk to a real person over there, and they said
tough.
the exact. It is. I mean, like it's like there's only one like button you can click on, and it is buried, man. It is hidden so far, and someone had to like send me a link to it or like click, show me where it was, and I finally got through. Once you know where it is, you can talk to someone in like 2 minutes, like 1 minute. They'll live chat with you. And in some cases, they'll even get on the phone with you and talk. You can hear their voice. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's like the 80s. We have real contact now. So it was awesome. And but they said the same thing. They were like, well, we can't guarantee that you'll ever be able to reach everybody that follows you because there's no way to know if they're online, when they're online, blah blah blah. So. Right. Finally, that kind of made sense. It felt like I was being scammed a little bit. Like, well, wait a minute, they're following me. How come but then it was like, no, wait, they may not be on their computer or their phone or, whatever. So yeah, I just, it's like all about reaching as many people as possible. And so it sounds like this is the best way to do it. It's like, is as much as you can afford to spend and then keep that relevance score high.
Yeah. And you know what? And we talk about split testing all the time too. And,
yeah.
The more you split test, the more you're going to figure out what's really lighting the world on fire for your Facebook ads and what's not. And
yeah, okay.
That was one thing that you and I have hammered on lately a lot is split testing different images, different headlines, different body text. You want to touch on, some things you're planning on split testing or maybe what you think about split testing some things.
Absolutely. In fact, that was like my big question really was now we were talking about, advertising to people who like certain things already. So like Back to the Future, The Goonies, like these movies, shows, like that's one thing I've been meaning to do since like for months since I started this. And I keep getting other ideas that like push those out of my head. I'm like, oh wait, but I haven't tried this audience. I haven't tried this audience. And I keep it's like I need to write it down and set an alarm on my phone. You need to advertise to these guys. So now that I'm finally doing it, or I'm about to, like, what I want to know is, for starters, how you would, like, is there, if you're going to run like one series of ads, right? Like what I usually do is I split test age and gender. So I'll run 3 ads to men, 1 to, 18 to 30, sorry, 13 to 17, then 18 to 34, then 35 to 50. And then I used to do 51 to 65, but I realized that like there's no audience for my thing in that age range. So I stopped. And then I realized that 13 to 17, there isn't really either. So now I just do, 18 to 34 and 35 to 50 for men, and then the same 2 age groups for women. So usually 4 ads at a time. And I test across the board, just run it to the whole United States of America only, like not worldwide. Because I want to just I want to get the American audience first and then branch out from there.
Right.
And what I'm asking for is basically subscriptions and purchases in American dollars. So that's like where I want to start. But like when I get to the interests and I'm putting in Back to the Future and the Goonies, can you put too many things in there that it will actually hurt your ad? Or should you just go nuts and be like, anything that's really relevant that's a movie or a show or whatever, just jam it in there?
Yeah, so I know we talked about interest targeting before, and I think that's absolutely the coolest thing. Let me jump over to my screen and show people what we're talking about here really fast.
Cool.
I think it'll benefit just to share the screen really quick. So let me move in here and create an ad. And this is what I think is so cool, that it actually lets you target by those older shows, man. Like I said, it'll pop up all along my newsfeed if I target someone by this.
Yeah, and that's cool. What's cool is like it'll show you when you select it how big of a following it has, like how many people are interested in it, and I love that.
Okay, let me see here. Okay, here we go. Is that sharing for you now?
Yeah, I see it.
All right. Well, if we're here and it lets us set our ad goal, let's just do it for conversions right now, just for the sake of whatever, we'll go here. Oh, that's not a good thing. We want to click. Okay. And you see where it says detailed targeting. I know we've gone through this before. So you're asking if we should put in too many or not too many. So for the example that I made for you throughout this whole thing was, I say because it's a broad audience doesn't mean it's a bad audience. Okay.
Yeah.
Put in as many of these things as you want. Like you said, we said the Goonies might be a good group of people. The Simpsons obviously is a huge group of people. And if we're going to target just the United States, it's already set. So there's 230 million potential people out of that right now. And then with the budget that it's set on now, it's estimated to reach 840 to 3,800 people, which I was just reading the other day. Facebook still has by far the lowest cost per 1,000 CPM out of any form of advertising. So, this estimated reach is going to be by far better on Facebook than any other advertising platform as of right now.
Awesome.
Family Guy could be one. Honestly, the chance, I would put in as many of these things as you want. I think it's going to hang up here around this number no matter what. Like I said, broad doesn't necessarily mean bad as far as an audience, okay? Because these are all people that definitely have an interest in the type of cartoons and the type of shows that are related to what you're talking about, okay? Now, let's say you wanted to really narrow this thing down and you really wanted to hone in on a few people. Let's say you wanted to narrow down on people who also had an interest in like 80s rock as well. And you wanted to type in, since I had Van Halen up, you could find people who have an interest in Eddie Van Halen, or people who have an interest in Motley Crue, if I spell it right. Maybe I'm not spelling it right. Well, since I can't spell, maybe we'll try Led Zeppelin. There we go. But it lets you narrow it down. So include all people who match at least one of these and also must match one of these, okay? And then if you wanted to narrow it even further, let's say you wanted to target people with like with Tourette's or with like ADHD or anything like that, you could put those things in here. So you could start
I see.
targeting like as narrow as you want. So if you really want to send that message, you could put those things in there and really narrow it down and do a cheaper ad to a smaller group of people. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. And you just keep like, clicking that narrow button and saying like they must also like this stuff, and I love that because I like the idea of doing shows, maybe shows and movies to start, like a bunch of like a list of 80s movies and then a list of 80s shows, like, and like I and then or like media, like video media and audio media I like that example of like 80s content and 80s music, like that's a sounds like a good cross like what do you call that, like a cross examination of like everything.
Yeah, for sure. And like I said, it's broad doesn't necessarily mean bad. Like all those people that like The Simpsons, Family Guy, all those other things, there's a good chance they're probably going to like Little Billy. But if you really wanted to hammer on a specific interest, like if you really wanted to hammer on how like the whole Rets, ADHD, like neuro things, what you could do is you could start putting those in to narrow them down even a little bit more, which I think is absolutely cool. So you can go as niche, or is it, how do you say niche? However you want to say it. You can go as
Yeah.
niche as you want, or you can go as broad as you want. But, either way, it's not going to be a bad thing. It's how
Okay,
big of an
cool.
audience you want. So, and then,
Oh, great. Yeah, that was my big concern, was like, just like, I don't want to overdo it.
right. No, you're absolutely right. Now, I know we're also talking about doing some ads for you where you're going to try to collect email addresses as well versus just get people to like the page and then rely on Facebook to send that message out to all those people. We're going to talk about doing like potentially landing page ads or conversion ads to collect email addresses.
Yeah, and exactly. My big issue is that I'm using pages, as far as I know, like I've contacted most of them. They don't allow you to access like the HTML code of the page, because they're built to like for you to have a mailing list and then that's it. And so you can't like put your Facebook pixel code onto those pages, so you don't really know who's clicking, or there's no way to gather that feedback and that data. So like at this point, it's like I'm working on resolving that issue now, but like at this point, would since I can't run conversion ads, would the best thing be to I can talk, would be to run traffic ads to that landing page so that I get people to at least get there and hopefully sign up, because the website will notify me that someone new signed up, so I can at least see that people did and who it is and all that good stuff. It's just that I can't track it on the back end.
You said you can't use Pixel, right?
Right.
Yeah, you could do that. Or, another thing that you might be able to do is you could do lead ads too on Facebook. Let me see if I can share this as well. Facebook actually lets you create lead page ads or lead ads or lead generation ads where they can put in their information and then it builds that list for you as well.
Nice. Okay.
That's just an alternative option. But I know you're trying to get them to sign up on that specific page. So that's one of the benefits of having a landing page versus, something you can put your own pixel on. But, either way, if you ran a video ad versus by tracking via pixel on the landing page, you could also retarget by, a percentage of the video watched as well. And I know that's something we were talking about a little bit. So were you thinking of maybe doing a custom audience based on the percentage of the video watched, or?
Yeah, I basically want to do, like, ultimately, I would love to be able to track everything, hopefully figure out a way to get the pixel on this page I already use, or maybe just go with a different website that will allow me to do that. And ultimately, like, until I do that, I was going to just drive traffic to the landing page I have now, so hopefully they sign up. And I've been doing that, but again, for like $1 to $5 a day on the ads, and it was generating, like, I think I got 40 signups total, and
Gotcha.
so it's like that's more than I've ever gotten before. But out of 27,000 people, I thought,
Right.
gee, I was really hoping and expecting, you know, I was hoping for a bigger result and a bigger impact. So now I know, spend more money, target, you know, more succinctly, and that should work. But like the stuff I wanted to create those lookalike audiences for and the custom audiences for would be like video, like probably secondary for video views, mostly for who's clicking through, who's actually buying a product or you know, signing up to a newsletter or subscribing to the Patreon. Like those are the three big things. And really the two big things are the purchases and the subscriptions. That's what I want to track the most.
Absolutely. Let me show you real quick. I have the lead ads up here on my screen just to show anyone ever wanted to try to use it. I think. Is that up for you? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so we just set our goal to lead generation instead, and it actually lets you customize and make like a little customized page that you can, I think, let me see here. We don't use it often because I know we use our own landing pages, but see, you can create your own lead gen form right here.
Oh, nice.
Let's see if it pulls it up here. Yeah, well, it doesn't look too clean right now, but what it'll do is you can customize it, make it look really tailored to your business or about little Billy, you know, and then you could collect that customer information with that viewer information right there. So that's just an alternative way to do it. But, you know, back to the tracking pixel and things like that to create those custom audiences, you know, you definitely want to try to collect, like we said, you can create a custom audience through tracking pixel on landing pages, but that's kind of out of the option since they won't let you use tracking pixel on those pages that you're using right now. The percentage of video views are another way to collect custom audiences of people who actually, like you said, genuinely are interested. And another way you could do it is if you do start accumulating a big email list, Facebook actually lets you upload that email list into Facebook Ads Manager, and you can shoot ads to all those people who actually are associated with those email addresses. Okay.
Okay. Nice.
And another way that you can expand upon that is by using a lookalike audience, which I know we talked about that a little bit, where let's say you have 1,000 email addresses and you can tell Facebook to create a lookalike audience, find people who are really similar to that existing audience. And it'll go out and it'll find 1% of America and it'll go create another custom audience that looks really similar to that one, also making the advertising dollar more efficient. So that's just something that's food for thought, you know?
Awesome. Yeah. I heard that there was even a way to increase the percentage, like you could make it like find more of like a larger percentage of the country. But I heard that was maybe not the best option. Like it's better to keep that small. Do you have any thoughts about that?
Yeah. So as far as keeping your lookalike audience small, is that what you said?
Well, you said it would go out and find, like, what it does is it finds 1% of America, but I heard that there was a bar that you could slide in Facebook to actually change it to, like, go find 50% of America or 100%. And they're like, well, you should probably leave that alone down at 1 or 2%.
You should, because it'll get absolutely huge if you move it up, and then it actually starts to lose its precision is what I found out. So we did it for one person before where I said the same exact thing. I was like, well, I'm going to go get 50% of America, and we're going to go get 1 billion users that are going to match these interests. But it actually started to lose a lot of precision and accuracy.
Okay.
And whenever you keep it down to that 1%, it gets really narrowed and it gets really focused on finding people that are really similar to what you're trying to accomplish.
Okay, and that's still a lot of people, right? I mean, 1% of like billions of people, it's still going to bring in millions and millions of really like true potential customers.
It's absolutely huge, man. Yeah, I mean, you're not going to have a problem finding people with 1% of America, that's for sure. But
cool.
And I know we were talking about as far as split testing, going back to that real quick. We're talking about split testing different parts of the country and whatnot. Yeah. And I know last week we were saying, well, would you split test so many states, or would you split test, what we've done before in the past is some states, we've had 10 states in one audience or for one split test, and we've had 3 states in another audience or for another split test. I'm sorry, I keep saying that wrong. But if you have New York, or Texas or California, they're obviously going to hold a lot more people in those audiences. So when you're split testing, it might be California and 2 other states that are just as big as North Dakota, South Dakota, and, you know, a couple surrounding states, because California is huge. But either way, it doesn't matter if those audience sizes are the same or not. If
Okay.
the conversion rate's higher, your ads manager has all those percentages right there. And it's, so if it's converting at a higher rate, or if it's pulling more people in, more likely to convert, a higher engagement rate, then obviously, you know, that split test is working better than your other ones. So
Okay, cool.
that's just something that's food for thought, you know. But do you have any questions for me?
Yeah, I mean, I guess like at this point, I'm just curious, like what do you? I mean, when you first of all, when you go in to build the split, like the regional split test ads, do you just manually enter the states that you want to run them in?
Yeah. So I'll put in, all you have to do is type in the state. That's all you have to do. And then look at the sidebar, and it'll tell you, here, I'll jump over to the screen really quick if it lets me. Continue. And then usually whenever we scroll down, see, whenever you go here, it'll let you type in by state. So if we wanted to type in California, it won't ever let you go. I can't figure out a way how to do it where it's more or less than a state. Well, you could do a country, but if you want to just go by states, that's the way that we've split tested in the past.
Okay.
Where we've just typed in, you know, like California, and then you could type in things like Oregon, you know, and then you could figure out this audience right over here. You could test different sections of the country and just look at your map and see what works in this side, and then you can split test it right down the middle. Okay. So the audience sizes, like I said, we try to get them to be similar, but they don't have to be, because like I said before, as long as the conversion rate is high, you just base it off the percentage of people that are seeing it. That'll tell you if it's successful or not.
Okay. And then like where do you go to see all the results of your conversion ads, and like where you get that information and then you can retarget accordingly?
Yeah. So whenever you start building that audience, it'll pop up all your custom audiences. There's a bar right here. When you start building the custom audiences, all those will appear here whenever you're building your next ad. Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, sort of. I mean, that's one part of it, but then like can you then, like, I think we were talking about within that audience, sometimes like certain states will be converting and others won't. Like, where do you go to actually see the results?
Yeah, absolutely. Here, let me jump over to my ads manager. So those will be under your ad sets. So I tested these in different counties. They would be split tested up by states. And it would be under your ad sets whenever you're testing those different areas. Okay.
Yeah.
And it should tell you, you know, how many people you've reached, your impressions, what your budget is. Then you can, I always set mine up a little bit differently. You know, I want to know what my click-through rate is. Here's how I have mine set up. If I would highly recommend other people set theirs up the same way. You have your result, whether it's leads or whether it's clicks or whether it's your click-through rate. So we have clicks all, click-through rate all, cost per click all. Then we have link clicks, cost or click-through rate clicks by link clicks. Then we have cost per click link clicks. And then I have unique link clicks, which is unique individual people. Okay. These are how many times the actual link was clicked. These are how many times an actual unique person clicked it.
Okay.
I really break it down. These are all the clicks. These are all the link clicks. These are all the unique people that clicked. Okay. And like I said, each state, each section that you break down, if you set up to split test, it'll be under your ad sets. Okay. Does that answer what you were asking there, Chance?
It does, because like my first thought was, well, if you're running one of your split test ads to like 10 different states, right? Like one large region of the country, and you were trying to figure out like if there were people, like my original thought was you want to figure out like which of the states within that set, right? Like if like within those 10, if some of them don't seem as interested in others, you might want to eliminate those states from future ads. But there's no way to actually see like where the people are who are engaging. It's more of like, how did the whole set perform, right?
Right.
But as long as you're doing decent sizes, I mean, that solves the problem anyway, because you can say like, all right, these 10 states performed way better than these 10 states, which performed way better than those 10 states, you know? And so you're still like breaking it down enough. And unfortunately, like, this is where my mind goes. I'm like, okay, there's 50 states. How many different combinations would I have to run to get like the best states out of the entire country that care about what I'm doing? And that's ridiculous, because I feel like just that like method or that level of like accuracy would not even be worth getting, because by the time to get it, you'd have to do so much work and spend so much time and money. It's like, what's the point?
Yeah. It's, you know what, as long as you're finding the people out of each state that care, you know, that's the most important thing.
Right. Got you. And that's it. And they wouldn't have engaged with your ad if they didn't care. So I get that. Yeah. Absolutely,
man. Well, man, listen, I won't take up any more of your time. I do appreciate you jumping on with me. Is there anything else I can help you out with?
At the moment, I think we've covered it all, man. If I think of anything else, I'll let you know. I'm just really excited to, like, you know, run out and go try this stuff that we're talking about in this video. And but if I have questions, I'll let you know. Hopefully everything's still up here and I can like go do it. But you make it really simple, man. I appreciate that. And it all makes sense to me now. And like, I'm just ready to go get started and see how they work.
Yeah, I can't wait, man. I can't wait until they're live and to see how much traffic we can crush to those pages. Seriously.
Me too, man.
Yeah,
awesome.
I'm looking forward to it for sure.
Same here. Thanks, Aaron.
Yeah, so what I'm going to do in the comments for anyone who wants to check it out, follow Little Billy's page. I'm going to have the URL up there so they can follow you. Is there anything else you want to throw in about Little Billy here before we check it off, Chance?
Yeah, just if you guys would just, if you like this idea, please just go to littlebilly.com or patreon.com/littlebilly and subscribe. It's as low as, $1 a month, which is less than 4 cents per day. It's extremely affordable. It's one of those things where, like, I just need a bunch of people, like if it was even just my Facebook page, all 27,000 people pledge $1 a day. That's 27,000 a month coming in. Meanwhile, you guys are only spending 4 cents a day. You'll never even miss it. And it gets the project off the ground so that, we can actually hire and afford to hire more artists to get it done faster, make it look better. I want it to be the real quality production that we love from the 80s and like from just classical animation, the stuff that Disney and all the great studios have been making since, film was invented. So we're going back to that. I hope you guys enjoy it. If you want to get in touch with me, you can email me directly at chanceraspberry@hotmail.com. And if you have any questions about the project, and if you want to get involved, just go to littlebilly.com, subscribe, check out the videos, and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. @He'sLittleBilly is how you find us there. And thank you guys. We really appreciate your support.
Absolutely, man. Dude, you're awesome. I like I said, absolutely love it. You're a rock star, man. I appreciate you jumping on and going over some of this stuff so people can learn from it as well. I mean,
yeah, my pleasure, Aaron. Man, thank you for having me, and it was great, dude. I appreciate it too.
All right, buddy. Well, hey, I will talk to you here soon. And like I said, if you need anything, obviously reach out. I'm looking forward to seeing how we can get these ads rolling. So.
Me too, man. Thanks again. Have a good one.
You too. See you, Chance.
See you later.